Her 14th husband had just died, and the Black Widow put on bright red lipstick, making the detective almost forget to interrogate her. She handed the detective a ball of spider silk, saying it was given to her by her husband before he died. Then she grabbed his arm and bit him, but she didn't inject venom, instead telling the detective to compare the bite marks on her husband's neck to prove she wasn't the killer. The detective had to return to the crime scene, only to find that the scientist had seemingly come back to life and run off. Upon closer look, it was ants carrying the body away. He chased after them to get a closer look, but they worked together efficiently. The detective couldn't keep up with the body moving speed. He shot his spider silk and jumped onto the body. Just as he was about to compare the bite marks, he found that the scientist's insides had been hollowed out. He followed the ants all the way, discovering they were all gathering in the airship cargo hold. Their numbers were enormous, but nearly half of them had suddenly disappeared. The detective felt this was connected to the scientist's murder, and the bite mark comparison confirmed that the Black Widow wasn't the killer. The detective also unexpectedly learned that the scientist had been working with Red Locust before his death. Just as the case was going nowhere, a mantis suddenly appeared. The security guard on the airship quickly fired spider silk at him, but he pounced at the Black Widow, then sprayed corrosive liquid on the ceiling, and carried the Black Widow away. The assistant quickly carried the detective on his back and gave chase. He was a rare jumping pig breed, but he accidentally jumped into the human passenger cabin. At the critical moment, the detective shot his spider silk and barely managed to stabilize himself in midair. Meanwhile, the mantis was carrying the Black Widow and ramming against the glass. A boy noticed the bugs and tried to swat the mantis, forcing them to keep dodging. At the same time, the co-pilot also arrived with his men. They fought in chaos, jumping all over the place. A woman spotted the spider and screamed in terror. The flight attendant quickly trapped all the bugs with a cup. The moment the cup was lifted, they could only cling to the rim of the cup to avoid being swatted by humans, then dodging the coffee that was poured over them before escaping back into the cracks. It was only then that the mantis finally spoke. It turned out he wasn't the killer either. He was a bodyguard hired by the scientist before he died, with the purpose of protecting the Black Widow he loved. Just as the detective was about to press further, the mantis was grabbed by a strand of spider silk. When it was thrown back, it had become a dried up empty shell.